So what we're doing today is we're rebuilding the XP machine. I first built it for the XP 20th anniversary, which was 3.5 years ago now. That was a while ago, and it's been through some changes, a case swap, but the one thing that's been consistent has been the motherboard and the RAM. Oh, and the hard drive. I think those are the only things that have been the same. I've changed basically everything else in the computer since then, and now even more is going to get changed. Yeah, so here's the XP machine in its most recent form. The last time you saw it was in the XP, making my XP machine more efficient video. So what happened was I wanted to take the power consumption of the machine down, because therefore I wanted to reduce the amount of heat getting output into my room. So we moved down from a QX6700 to a Core 2 Duo E8600, which wasn't really a downgrade. If anything, it was an upgrade because I could run faster single-core clocks on it. And I was running it at 4 gigahertz, which was very cool, but there's kind of an issue with that. And I swapped out the dual 8800 GTXs for GTS 250s. And honestly, the machine, at the time that I did the video, and for, the months after that, it was fine. There really wasn't any issues with it. The only, nagging issue that I had with it was, this second GTS 250 that I got. This card rattles for some reason. I took the whole thing apart. I screwed it back together just to make sure that it was, not loose or anything. I did repaste both of these cards, and it still just kind of rattles a little bit sometimes, especially when the fan ramps up faster. Early this year, I decided to play through the Call of Duty 2 campaign, because I'd never done that before. I started playing through it on this machine, of course, and I started running into random, blue screens and, just system lockups. So at first I thought, oh, okay, great, my overclock wasn't as stable as I thought. So I bumped up the voltage on the CPU. Didn't help it. So I thought, okay, well, let me see if there was any patches for, COD 2, just to see. And there was. I updated to the latest version of the game, at least, the retail version of the game. Updated to the latest one of that. Same thing, it was still getting, blue screens and random lockups. And then I started noticing in Supermium that tabs were crashing and stuff like that. The machine was just not happy in general. Maybe the board voltage isn't good enough. Maybe I need to up the chipset voltage, the frontside bus voltage, stuff like that. I bumped up the voltage all on those, which I didn't really want to do, but I figured, okay, maybe it's just not quite as stable as I really thought it was. I had stressed it pretty well, and I thought it was fine. I did all that, even with the extra voltage on CPU and chipset, frontside bus voltage, still I would get blue screens. I tried different GeForce drivers, thinking maybe that was an issue with the game, and it wouldn't get any better. I didn't know what to do, really. So here's the thing, I've had this RAM for a long time. I ran MemTest 86 on it. The RAM fully checks out fine, and the RAM is not overclocked. So this RAM, in theory, is still fine. Now, this board has always been picky about its RAM. The RAM slots are kind of iffy. You have to get it inserted just right. Otherwise, it gets really screwed up and usually doesn't want to post. Like me just barely touching that probably already screwed it up. I'm not even kidding. So that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, okay, I'm chasing down a RAM issue again because I've ran into this before with this machine. And yeah, it wasn't the RAM. I didn't put different RAM in it, to be fair. Maybe the BIOS needs to be updated. This is the latest BIOS. It wasn't originally when I got it, but before I put in the E8600, I did update the BIOS. So it's on the latest one. Could the random crashes be the onboard SATA controller messing up? See, someone commented that on one of my XP machine videos. He's like, hey, have you had any issues with the SATA controller on these boards? They're kind of known for being bad. And I was like, no, I haven't had any issues. And then a few weeks later, I start having issues with the system. So it might be the SATA controller. So I'm going to blame whoever that guy was. If I cleaned the RAM, no. I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to turn off the overclock. I'm going to run the E8600 at stock voltage. And the issues kind of went away for the most part. It significantly reduced the amount of blue screens and crashes. Significantly. But it still would I think occasionally every once in a while. So what I think was happening is this board, this is a really early, not like early, 775 board, because 775 came out in like 2004. This is from early 2007. I'm trying to run a 1333 megahertz stock frontside bus. That's the stock frontside bus of the E8600. I'm trying to run that in a board for a time when 1333 was considered an overclock frequency card. I did actually try disabling SLI and taking out another card, taking out one of the cards, even trying the different ones. Same thing happened even with single card, SLI disabled. So it wasn't an SLI issue. I was trying to run the CPU at 1600 megahertz, which I think is just way too much for this poor board. I think I was pushing the board way too hard. Even though it was stable initially, I think maybe the board just kind of wore itself out. I mean, these caps are, they're not leaking or anything. This is kind of post-capacitor plague. They're still like 18-something-year-old capacitors. Bad solder joints? Yes, that is actually a very good point, because this is during Bumpgate era, when NVIDIA, well, it wasn't specifically NVIDIA's fault, they just kind of came under blame for a lot of it. It's the same thing that caused the Xbox 360 issues and the PS3 issues. These 90 nanometer chipsets. I was trying to make sure that I was keeping the temps down good. I did change the thermal paste, actually. Thermal paste on the north bridge, the south bridge, was all new. I did that like, I think 2 years ago, so that shouldn't have been an issue. Now, if I really wanted to, I do actually have another board. I have this exact same board that I found actually with this graphics card. But this board I bought like 5-something years ago, and I just happened to come across the same board in another machine that someone gave me for free. They found it on the side of the road. They're like, here, do you want this thing? I was like, yes, please. I do have another board. I know it works. I could swap it in if I really wanted to, but I really don't want to lose my 4 gigahertz overclock, because man, that's so cool to have a 4 gigahertz Core 2 Duo. I could have pushed the Core 2 Duo too far, and that might be an issue. I really don't think I pushed it too far, because tons of people have gotten 8600s to 4 gigahertz before, and I barely put any extra voltage into this. Temps were really good. There's a Hyper 212 black on it, and yeah, the temps were always fine on the Core 2 Duo. Honestly, you guys might be right on the RAM thing. Whether it be dirty contacts or just these sticks are fine, because I know MemTest is not a 100% perfect, especially when it comes to like RAM stability. It's usually fine for just checking if all the chips are good, not necessarily for stability testing. But yeah, like I said, this board's always been finicky. Enforce boards are kind of just finicky in general. This is a Gigabyte GA EP43T-S3L. I don't want to lose SLI. This means the only dual GPU system I'm going to have now is the Windows 7 machine. That's Crossfire. That still is okay, other than the fact that my other GPU has artifacting issues. But yeah, I don't think the SLI is really that necessary, to be honest. Like, even the single GTS 250 is honestly fine. The other thing you'll notice, it advertises that it can run 1600 megahertz FSP. I know it's not megahertz, it's mega transfer. I'm gonna keep saying megahertz because mega transfer is too hard to say constantly, all the time. DDR3 1600 plus. But 1600 plus, I just didn't know that any 775 board that supported DDR3 ever went that high with its memory support. I always figured they just kind of topped out at like 1333, but no, apparently this does 1600. Dual BIOS, and there's the two BIOS chips. The only downside is that there's no VRM cooling at all. So cooler we're going to be using. There's a Hyper 212 black on the board now. That works fine, but I have this spare Hyper 212 Evo now, so I figured I'm just going to put that on there since it'll look a little bit more period correct than the black. The black looks cool, but I think this will look good with the blue board. There's a reason I just made a video about it. I planned on using it. One of these screws was like completely stripped out, or it wasn't stripped out. I tried to take it out. No matter the bit size, it just stripped right out. It was like seized in there solid. And I had to like cut it off and get the screw out. Is that a plastic backplate? No, it's not. You would think it would be because they have a sticker on it, but that is actually metal. It feels like plastic, but it is metal. This card was nasty when I got it. It was horrible. It was completely clogged up. Now, I kind of had a bit of an obsession when I got this card. I was in the process of delidding all of my NVIDIA cards. I had a pretty good track record. I delidded both of my 8800s just fine. I decided to delid this, and I'm pretty sure that the temperature difference that I got out of delidding it, and when I say delidding it, the heat spreader is still on here. I just, took the heat spreader off, redid the TIM between the die and the heat spreader. Yeah, I redid that. I'm pretty sure the temperature difference didn't come from the delid, probably came from the fact that, it has airflow now. This is two 2GB sticks of Kingston HyperX Blue DDR3. The shade of blue is not showing up well on the camera at all. Okay, there you go. You can see it in the light. Isn't that the coolest DDR3 you've ever seen? This is gonna look excellent. I wanted blue LED fans. Right now the system has white LED fans, but I wanted some better quality ones. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. If you try to find single color LED fans nowadays, it's not easy. There's really not that many out there left. Most of them are kind of no-name, just brands from China that are out there, and like who knows the quality of them. And I wanted some actual like PWM fans and whatnot. Wright actually does make some pretty good fans, and I got this 3-pack of ARGB fans, I think for like $12 or something. So I bought, also from Wright, this is a little just ARGB controller. I think you can pick between like 12 different colors or something on this. So the side panel, this is gonna line up basically to blow directly onto the chipset, and hopefully it'll help blow some extra airflow over the the VRMs. This is a Antec fan. This is one of the fans that came with the Antec 900 originally, and it has stealth blue LEDs. You'd think, oh, this is just a pure black fan. How is there LEDs? Well, there's some like LEDs like hidden in the frame, and when it's spinning, it kind of makes like a subtle like spiral effect, kind of like the older Cooler Master sickle flows. I forgot to mention this. I forgot about this. Whoever had this board before me already did the socket mod for 771 chips. They grinded out the out the thing. Personally, I wouldn't touch the socket. I would rather touch the like $10 Xeon and just carve grooves into that. But so now I have to line up the notches where there are no longer notches. This is dangerous too, because you just put the CPU in the wrong way. I know, that tripped me up so much when I first got the board and I was testing it out. I was trying to like figure out like, why is this not feeling like it's notching in any way? And I kept looking for it, and then eventually I shined a light in there. I was like, oh yeah, somebody grinded out the notches. So whoever had this was running a Xeon in here, I guess. Also, did you guys know that the original Hyper 212 came out in like 2007? I mean, I knew the Hyper 212 was old. I didn't know it was that old. I thought it was like a 2010 product or something. It is hitting the fan a little bit, but now that it's past it, it's fine. I mean, that would look awesome if I had four sticks of RAM, but that still looks pretty good. Like, oh yeah. Yeah, that is a solid front bezel. Like, look at how thick that plastic is. It's like double layered. So nice of them to make a CPU tray cutout and then make it so that it's not tall enough for you to get a full I guess they had a full back plate in there. I mean, I guess you could kind of slide it up. You could kind of slide it up under there, but still, it's really annoying. That's the first one out. Oh yeah, this case is like left outside as well for a long time, so there's some patina on there, just a little bit of surface rust. Also, this bottom faceplate is like super nasty looking. I should probably repaint that at some point, but you can't see it on the camera, so therefore it doesn't exist. I gotta have my like 8-port USB hub. However, will I live without that? Really, I don't need that in this case since I have working front panel USB now. So I didn't on my original case at all. But I do in this case, albeit only one port works. But, you know, I figured I should carry it over anyways because it's dumb and ridiculous. Yeah, cable management looks horrible in this. Oh, that's so gross. I didn't even realize that. I know you can't see it on camera, but like the AC97 plug is like just clogged with dust in there. There we go. Beautiful. Now I just got to put the fan on the side panel. All right, it did. All right, it turned off and then immediately turned on, immediately turned off. Turning on again. I think it did this like once or twice the first time I tried turning it on. Hey, there we go. No, B is color. Why? Ooh, that's a nice blue. It's a lighter blue. That's too light. Purple, white. Ugh. Oh. How could anyone live with that? That is horrible. That's a static rainbow. Red, yellow, green, blue. All right. We're leaving it at blue. I can tilt the monitor to compensate. Hey, there we go. Wow, it's actually... Wow. I did not think it would actually boot. I mean, I don't have chipset drivers installed, but I mean... Yeah, because on the other board, the socket was, I think, further up on the board by a little bit. And so the fan could clear it. But yeah, the top corner of the fan is hitting the Hyper 212. I think we'll probably just... We'll try running it in a pull configuration, and when we overclock it, we'll just monitor the temps to see if that's going to be a problem or not. 1986 RCA camcorder. I had two camera setups. The overhead camera is gone at the moment. Yeah, the first ever stream I did was using two Sony Handycams. That was when I did the Dell Latitude stream that we didn't get the Dell actually working correctly on. There we go. Yeah. See, that fan looks cool. I think it looks pretty nice. Not that you can tell, really, but I think the new color scheme looks pretty good on it. Going for all blue and black. Somebody suggested to me trying out Win setup from USB, which I never tried before. But we're going to be trying to install XP off of a USB drive using that. And apparently it has, like, automatic, like, SATA driver support for a lot of stuff. Which is pretty cool. So yeah, Windows XP, and then you're supposed to go up to Auto Detect. And then it finds the drivers for the SATA. I don't know if this is gonna really be that much faster than a CD or not. Oh, dude, it's flying. It's flying. Whoa. Okay, that's cool. All right, that's really cool. I didn't know it'd be that much faster. Also, this is one of my ISOs that I made with Nlight. It basically is just slipstreaming Service Pack 3 into an XP volume license. I probably should have formatted this using high-runs so the partitions are correctly aligned, because this is a 1 terabyte drive. Ever try Ventoy? I have, but it does not work for XP. NTFS. You've never installed XP via USB. I never have either. This is my first time. So we're gonna see how it goes. Somebody suggested it in the last stream. I figured I'd try it. So far, I'm impressed. This is going incredibly fast. I don't know why it doesn't set a background for some reason on this one, but there we go. Yeah, Royale Noir. I always thought it was dumb Microsoft never released this. I mean, there's also the Zune, but that adds, like, orange. I kind of like the straight black. There's also Media Center. This is, which is just regular Royale. This is the theme I grew up with. And in my opinion, this is what XP should have shipped with. I don't think the regular Luna theme is bad. I just don't think it's that great. Like, the Media Center style is so much better. I do have, like, a Wi-Fi card that I could get, that I could have drivers for XP. I don't know if that's... How long would Snappy Driver take to install? Has, like, a horrible Wi-Fi antenna on it. It sucks, but at least the router is, like, just back there, so... I think it'll work. Oh, yeah, I forgot. This disc, I don't know if you can tell. It has, like, I don't know if it's disc rot, per se. You can kind of see it on, like, the edge. Better has, like, some severe, like, impact marks, but thankfully it's on, like, the outer edge of the CD, and the CD is only, like a couple dozen megabytes or something. I do have a second disc somewhere. I really should back up the drivers off of that, just to be safe. Oh, wait. I didn't know XP would just install it, like, that fast. I don't think I've ever put in the CD when that prompt is up before. I don't think I've ever seen XP do that. How have I never seen it do that? That's crazy. I have antivirus. Just please stop showing the pop-up. Thank you. For the longest time, I didn't know you could do that to get rid of the security pop-up. I just never knew you could do that. What, you can? Yeah, you can just have it stop doing the pop-up. I didn't find that out until I was, like, maybe like a few years ago. I just never bothered to click down there. I always just dismissed the thing. Even as a kid, we would always just dismiss the thing and we'd never looked at it. And it's like, yeah, you can just turn it off. I think I've tried this before, and it never actually successfully installs .NET. But maybe it'll work. I don't know. Oh, because it's trying to download it. That's probably why. 630 absolutely demolishes a Pentium 4. So 630, 1172. We'll just kind of keep that in mind. It's more than a bit of a bummer considering I specifically bought that board for this because I was like, oh, that's going to be really neat. Like 1600 megahertz DDR3 on a Core 2 Duo, that sounds awesome. And like once I realized, oh, okay, the memory thing probably isn't going to actually work out, but I was like, if it's like 1333, sure. I couldn't get the thing reliable at all with like really any overclock at all, which kind of defeated the whole point of the build to me. Honestly, I don't even remember exactly what all happened in that stream. All I know is I spent probably like 2+ something hours trying literally like every setting, adjusting voltage and whatnot, and just not being able to get the system to even boot reliably. And once I finally kind of got it to boot reliably, after I cranked up the Northbridge voltage by a fair bit, like 0.2 volts more. It's like a 65 nanometer chipset, so that's not an insignificant amount of voltage. We finally got it to be what I thought was somewhat stable. It was in fact not even close to being stable. So what would happen was, I swear, it had to like warm up. The board had to warm up for it to actually even consider booting. If you had it like turned off for like an hour, a couple hours, whatever, you turn it on, it would boot loop like once or twice, and it would start to kind of maybe want to boot into Windows. It would usually blue screen before it could boot into Windows, but eventually it would get into Windows, and then it would seem to be fine for a while, until you turned the system back off and whatnot. So obviously there was something very wrong. I continued playing around with the voltages and whatnot. None of that really seemed to fix it. Even dropping the RAM speed down to like 1066, but leaving the frontside bus still overclocked for the CPU overclock, nothing. The only way I could get the system to halfway reliably be reliable was running everything at stock default settings. That was the only way I could get it to work. So that board is just, I guess, bad for overclocking. I have no clue why. I was like, all right, what if we go back to the Enforce board? So I got the old Enforce board back up, the EVGA 680i SLI. Did some testing with it, did some preliminary stuff, got it to got it reassembled and whatnot on my test bench. Got it working, and then I noticed that there was actually some SMD component damage, which I think, if I remember correctly, I did know about, and then I forgot about, and I didn't realize until I looked at it again. But down by the third PCI Express slot, there was two components that were damaged. A bigger one and a littler one. And also I have no clue if it was a capacitor or a resistor. I managed to get the big one soldered back on, because they were both like half like lifted up off their pads and whatnot in like weird ways. So they definitely weren't making contact anymore. I got the big one soldered back on, but I think the little one was just, I think it was kind of broken already. Couldn't get that one soldered back on. So, I mean, maybe that was partially due to the stability issues. The other thing that could have been related to stability is I was using 4 1GB sticks of Corsair Dominator XMS2 1066 CL5 DDR2. I know. Rolls off the tongue, but I had been using that, and that had been working fine, but high-end DDR2 is not always the most reliable. But a lot of people recommended, like, oh, did you clean the contacts on them? Did you clean out the slots? And I hadn't. At least I thought I had. So those sticks still work. But I did clean the contacts out, and the contacts were way dirtier than I thought they were. So that would explain the intermittency of some of the issues. Like them, like if you barely bumped them, they would like freak out. They wouldn't want to boot correctly anymore. I also realized, and I didn't realize this before, yeah, they were 2 different memory kits. I got them in the same system. They were all in the same system, so I always just thought they were the same kit, and I never really looked at it. But no, 2 of the sticks have the same like batch code on them. The other 2 sticks have the same batch code. So that could have been an issue. In general, you want to only have like 2 sticks of RAM. Adding 2 more just kind of increases the likelihood for random issues. And them being from a different batch, I mean, even though they were, lined up on the same channel, in theory, I might not have had. They might have been mix-matched
in the channels too, because like I didn't know, because I never looked at it. I had always just assumed that they were. But no, that also could have been an issue. They were mismatched in the channels together. I didn't have like one kid on channel like 0 and the other on channel 1 or something. So we have the other 680i board in there, which I'd never really used before, but I knew it worked. Works fine. It's been working fine. I repasted the north bridge and the south bridge, got all that done. I cleaned up the board because it was kind of dusty. And it has no component damage, unlike the other one. It seems to be fine so far. I'm going to boot it up in a second here. And I've swapped the RAM. So instead of having 4 1GB sticks, I did consider just using one of the kits of the XMS2s, going down to just 2 gigs, which would be fine, even if I installed like Vista on this machine, which I want to do at some point. That's why I have the hot swap.
I will show the system with the webcam for a second as well, so you can kind of see what the board. I'm using the 260 Core 216, which is what I was using for the Gigabyte system as well. Yeah, I can just go in here. All right, so this is what we have going on. SLI Ready Memory is a weird, dumb marketing thing from NVIDIA. It's also called EPP. Some memory modules have this. It's sort of like an early version of XMP. It's like another JDEC profile, basically, built onto the SPD of the memory. I have this off because ideally this will like set up your timings and everything correctly. But this was causing some weird behavior. You can set this to expert if you want, but like there's no reason to have this on when I can just manually enter in the RAM timings. The only one that is inaccurate when I have SLI memory off is the TRC. This is supposed to be 36, where if you run it at CL5, this will normally default to 23. And for whatever reason, the BIOS doesn't let you go beyond 31 to up to 36, where it's supposed to be for this RAM profile, for the EPP profile. So I'm just going to run it at 31. I haven't ran into any issues yet, and I will say the system has been remarkably stable so far. Sync mode is basically... I'm not exactly sure how it figures out the timing, or not the timing, the ratio, but this will run it basically at a perfect 1:2 ratio. So the memory is running at its correct speed, the bus is running at what I want it to. We're in linked memory mode. We're in FSB sync mode. So in theory, we're golden. This is basically like the ideal configuration you could want for what I'm doing here. And we have all of our timings, good CL4, tight timings. Now, for the voltage, poor voltage, this might seem a bit high, but that's just because these boards have a lot of V-droop, and there's no line load calibration. The FSB is just set to auto. That's been working fine. There's no reason to adjust that, because that's between the south bridge and the north bridge, and there's no reason to change that. South bridge voltage is perfectly fine. Memory is 1.9, which is what it's supposed to be. I do have slightly higher voltage going into the north bridge. It's supposed to be 1.5. I bumped it up to 1.25 just to make sure. I probably could dial this back if I really wanted to, but it's been running fine like this, and it's not a bunch of extra voltage, so I'm not worried about it.
There we go. Now you can see the RAM. Yeah, so we only got 2 sticks, but it is 4 gigs. They are 2 2GB sticks. So, yeah. Everything else in here is the same as what I wanted it to be, basically.
But I went back and I double-checked the video where I swapped to the E8600. This is actually slightly better than that. So we technically have upgraded the system very slightly. Not significantly, but very slightly, which is nice. And obviously we have a better single GPU now. I want to say it was slightly higher earlier, but considering the score is so high, it probably has a really wide margin of error. Yeah, so the problem with 3D Mark 01, or really most of the 3D Marks, once you get to a certain point, it stops scaling the score correctly. I think even on like modern systems, you can barely get maybe 100,000 in 3D Mark 2001. 16241. Pretty solid score. XP is super cool. It is. Oh, I forgot. I wanted to do something. I wanted to install XPIs. Which, if you don't know what that is, it's basically like a visual enhancement pack for XP. Let's do that. I almost forgot about that. Never heard of XPIs? It's basically just like a theme enhancement pack. So you know how in XP, there's like a bunch of icons that didn't get like changed or updated correctly, and stuff like this, like all of these like banners and whatnot. These are all just ripped straight from Windows 2000. Microsoft didn't change them at all. And there's other stuff like, let me think. I want to say that, here, obviously, yeah, like all those kind of banner images, and there's other icons and stuff that never got changed. And XPIs basically just changes them all. Nice. All right. That looks pretty good, I think. I don't think it's a perfect 60. It's also kind of hard to tell because this capture card, for some reason, isn't the smoothest with its frame capture at times. It's certainly not running bad, though. Fire time. Oh, the minimum was 73. Excellent. Excellent. All right, let's install the patch now so we can get 1080p. There we go. Finally. Jeez. I don't remember that many steps being needed to go through patch scrolls, but all right. Portable. I mean, I like using Betacraft, honestly. I did think about that. I like Betacraft because, in my opinion, because like that was the golden age of Minecraft to me, was like beta 1.7 to like release like 1.4, 1.5. Close that just to free up some resources. Hard to believe that like I was watching like all the Jiraga stuff like 9-10 years ago. Not bad. Pretty good. It's not smooth. It's not a smooth 60, but it is playable. Certainly playable. This is way better than how I used to play Minecraft back in the day on XP. Yeah, certainly not bad. Pretty much what I'd expect out of a Core 2 Duo. I really like the old beta world generation. Like, look, the cloud just coming right through top of the mountain. Like, we're so high up. Just got random blocks just chilling out in the middle of the air for no reason. I think beta 1.7 was the first version I played at a friend's house. We could leave it high. Let's see how it runs on high. Oh, we don't have any way to see the frame rate. X4500 graphics. That's horrible. Yo, 3400 FPS. Yo, Yeah, I hope EVGA never shuts down their power supply division. Kind of wish they'd kept their motherboard division too, but I really hope they never shut down the power supply division. Because they make... They're my favorite power supply maker. I mean, Corsair is also really good, but I've just always had a soft spot for EVGA. So like 39, 38, 40 FPS, not bad. So I can't change object quality while the game's running, but that's fine. Well, physics, we can leave that high. Probably. I don't think we're being too terribly CPU bottlenecked at the moment. We're getting like about 60. Definitely feels a lot more responsive for sure. That's really not bad. You could definitely play it like this. You could probably turn a couple more of the settings back up if you wanted to, but it's really not bad. Oh, here it is. It's the one scene that everyone sees. Yeah, this runs very good. Wow, it tanks when you use the binoculars. Like, even on medium, this is still a really good looking game. Like, you still get like depth of field effects and stuff. And... Oh, this is pretty good. 1080p maxed out. This is awesome. Is he gonna stay above 60 the whole time? I think it might. Almost. 57 minimum. Still not bad. Well, I think that's gonna be it.
Alright, so thank you guys for watching. See you guys later.